Hello and welcome to round 3 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul. After the spectacle of racing under lights in Sydney, we now head north to Queensland for the first of 3 rounds in the Sunshine State. The layout of Queensland Raceway, situated 45 minutes west of Brisbane, may look simple, but this track is extremely hard to master and has been the scene of many epic battles since the first ASBK race here 26 years ago. Circuit owner Tony Quinn has significantly upgraded the infrastructure here at Queensland Raceway over the last few years. However, one thing that has remained the same is the circuit layout. Let's take a closer look with Steve Martin and Chris Vermeulen.
Round 3, Ducati track preview, Queensland Raceway. It's not going to get better than this, Chris. And a fun fact, you and me raced here at the first race meeting back in 1999.
Makes me feel old. I don't know about you, Steve, but yeah, it was a tricky track then when we came here. Looks basic on paper, but to get a lap time out of this place is really, really difficult. The track's the same, but the facilities have improved massively. So still a cool track. Let's go and have a look at what makes a good lap time.
Absolutely. Let's start off with turn 1 and 2. It's the long corners at this track, Chris, where the time is made up. And turn 1, you need to make a lot of time here to get that lap time down.
Well, it's a classic example, isn't it? Very important corner, start of the racetrack. It's very bumpy as well. A motocrosser would say this looks dead flat, but it is, there's a lot of little bumps. You enter here at 250 k's an hour and you can imagine those small bumps. And if the bike setup is not right, it makes it really hard for the rider to control and they lose a lot of speed in the middle of that corner. So yeah, very tricky place, but these first couple of corners are very fast.
And at a lot of other tracks, there's camber as well, but this place is very, very flat, so you don't get that camber to help you.
Well, that's it, and we can see at the exit of here, actually when you run out to that outside curb, the camber almost drops away, so easy to get more spin, makes it more difficult, maybe a high side even.
All the overtaking at this track, though, is done in the hard braking areas, so let's go and have a look at some of those. In its 3.12 kilometres, there's only 2 lefts on this track, and they're mid-speed. How does that affect the riders?
Well, you think it'd be easy not having many corners, but you spend so much time off that left-hand side of the tyre that when you enter this section, Steve, you've got to make sure that you've got temperature and confidence to come in here. It is quite tight as well, so difficult to get through here.
What are the riders actually feeling when they're exiting the race and road corner on that left-hand side of the tyre?
Well, you can see that the track is, you know, it's slippery, it's bumpy, the camber runs away on the exit, but it is very important to get out of here quick because there's a reasonably long straight before you get down to Ducati corner. So apexing this as late as possible and getting the bike up and getting it driving out is going to give you lap time.
Well, let's go and have a look. Queensland Raceway is renowned for its braking duels, and Ducati corner is your last chance on this track.
It is, turn 6, the last corner. It is slightly downhill braking into here, Steve. There's a tailwind this weekend, so it's pushing you into here. And it's quite a wide corner. You've got multiple options through here, haven't you?
What would you do? Is it like tight in and drift out in the middle, or wide in and on the exit, especially on the last lap?
It depends if you're the guy behind. Are you trying to block and defend your line? Are you trying to get a run on somebody to the finish line? You know, this is what racing's about. It plays, it unfolds, and you've got to take the best decision in the moment. But yeah, very difficult corner.
One thing we do know, Chris, this place is action-packed and it makes for close racing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this weekend unfold.
It's going to be an absolute ripper. Let the races begin. You do remember you cut me off here, don't you?
I can't believe you were getting challenged by a 16-year-old rookie.
Fair play.
Well, let's have a look at the AWMF race highlights. As they got off the line, it was a great start from all of the riders on the front row of the grid, and everybody safely made it through turn 1 as they started off this first lap.
Yeah, it was definitely a race of 2 different groups, 5 in the first group and 7 or 8 in that second group. It was pretty much sorted out early on. Chaz Williams was at the front a lot. There was Hunter Charlotte up there, Connor Lewis having a good dive, but how good was Rossi McAdam on the brakes?
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it was turn 3, the AWMF corner, or turn 6, the Ducati corner. He was showing his braking prowess at every opportunity. You can see him there, even into the left-handers at Kawasaki, coming up the inside. But around the outside, it was Lewis on board bike number 77 that showed that he was equal to the task.
Yeah, Connor Lewis was up there most of the time, and he was certainly up there when it counted.
He got a great drive out of the final corner, utilised the slipstream to perfection, and eventually took the win by 0.004 of a second. That was even closer than what Mitch's race was yesterday. And we are getting ready now for the next generation of riders that will be looking to try and get up to those classes. Chaz Williams will start out of pole position with Gage Plowman and Xavier Kermy on the front row.
McAdam, Charlotte and Lewis is your row 2. Row 3 is Pelgrave, Cameron and Strugnall. Row 4 is Orlando, Jed Lewis and Crew Knight. Liam Fuchs, Callum Campbell, Stevie Middlebrook from Western Australia is your row 5. Charlie Nichols, Leo Darling round out the field with Mellerick on row 7.
Right, we're ready to go racing for the final time this weekend for the Blue Crew Oceania Junior Cup. Red flag at the front of the grid, and we are now set and ready to go. 6 laps, the journey. Blue Crew Junior Cup is go as they blast off the line. It is your pole sitter, Chaz Williams, that gets a great launch off the line as they all charge their way down towards turn 1. I think you'll find that bike number 27 has also got a good start in there as well. Gage Plowman, so he will be looking to try and get the slipstream now as they make their way through Yamaha and along the back straight and down into AWMF corner, where the first of our 8 braking duels will surely occur.
Shortly occur is what you should be saying, not surely. Chaz Williams is up the front as we expect. He is always a good starter and a good finisher. Rossi McAdam is up there too from Western Australia. Makes his way up into that top 3. Passes Gage Plowman, who's gone back a couple of spots now. Connor Lewis is up there too in that top 3. Stevie Middlebrook's moved up a spot as well from Western Australia. She's moved up now into the points scoring position, so a really good start from her. Ethan Pelgrave is in that top 10 too.
So down into turn 4 we go, the first time on the left-hand side of the tyres. Of course, all of these bikes using identical Dunlop tyres. Bikes all set up by the Blue Crew team, all the bikes are brought to the rounds. Very minimal amount of modifications done to these machines, but everyone's bike is exactly the same, providing a very level playing field and great value way to get into road racing as well. That's a big lunge on the brakes there, Steve. Was that Rossi McAdam?
Of course it was. Rossi McAdam, he's the braking king in this class. He definitely goes in late, loses a little bit on the exit, but you can always tell Rossi McAdam on the brakes.
Yeah, Tom Cameron also pretty well placed in the middle of that 4 wide as they come down the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start, finish straight and go into turn 1. Oh, a bit of biffing and barging there. Looked like Rossi McAdam got a few elbows from each side as he made his way into SW Motec corner turn 1.
Definitely playing into the hands of Chaz Williams though. He's pulled out a little bit of a lead, 0.7 of a lead now. So a good start there by Chaz Williams. He'll definitely be pretty relaxed, but he knows he's not on his own because that's been chewed up, and through comes Connor Lewis on the inside. Yeah,
Orlando Piervitis is also charging hard on board bike number 12. He was the first rider to utilise the slipstream. Now it is Connor Lewis on board 77 that leads them. The one thing is that every time someone leads, overtakes Chaz Williams, he bounced back immediately on board bike number 18.
He's got very good corner speed. So with that corner speed, it gives him good drive out. He sort of like shoots himself out of the corners. And although he gets overtaken in the braking areas, he's got the speed to still stay up there near the front. Whoop. The guy in 5th spot there just ran a little bit wide. That might have been Rossi McAdam. Jai Strugnall's moved up. Oh,
Charlie Nichols, unfortunately, an early end to the race.
Jai Strugnall's doing a great job. He's right up there at the moment.
Well, remember, he dropped off the pack early in race number 2, didn't he, Steve? And he was back with the second group, unable to go with the race leaders. But remember, in race number 1, he finished in 3rd position, only 0.7 of a lead behind the race winner. So we know that Jai Strugnall on board bike number 99 has got a good amount of pace. Of course, his dad, Willie Strugnall, was also a great rider from South Australia.
What do you mean was? Still is a great rider.
Well, but back in the 90s, he was running at the top of many, many classes in the Australian Superbike Championship. So good to see the next generation of riders coming through.
Yeah, Jai Strugnall's come on a long way too. I can remember when he started, he wasn't as near the front as he is now. He's definitely having an absolute fantastic year this year.
So will it close up as we go on the brakes into Ducati corner? No surprise to see Rossi McAdam on bike number 61.
Yep, round the outside there. That was a good move by him. Tucked in. He's quite big compared to the others too, Rossi McAdam is, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly he's probably paying a little bit of a weight penalty. He's one of the older riders in this category now. He's back to the front is Connor Lewis on board bike number 77. He's taken victory in both of the races so far this weekend.
Well, Rossi from Western Australia, he rides in a couple of different classes. He rides in this class and then also...
Supersport 300.
Yeah, Supersport Racing Road 300.
So through Blue Crew we go. You can see the lean angle that they're getting there on the Yamaha R15s, riding the absolute wheels of this machine. Absolutely pinned. 6th gear down the back straight. 4, 5 abreast. Can we make it 6 abreast, Steve, with... I think that was Orlando Pervitas also trying to get in there as well. Oh, having to stand it up. Was that Chaz Williams that actually had to stand it up at the back of that group?
No, Chaz Williams is leading at the moment. I think in the number 18 machine. He just outbraked that group and, as always, came from nowhere.
So it must have been Orlando that had to stand it up a little bit at the back end of that entry into turn 3, the AMMF corner.
Yeah, Chaz does...
That's Lewis back to the front now.
Yeah, it is. He does such a great job to keep himself in the right spot. Hunter Charlotte's drifted back, as has Thomas Cameron now into that second group, which, you know, breaking into groups now. There he goes again, Rossi McAdam, so late on the brakes, but he's a little bit wide.
Well, Chaz Williams was also very good on the brakes there and has gone back into the lead. So that was coming round to complete 5 laps. So last lap board now out. Lewis goes back to the lead, utilises the slipstream, but I'm not sure if coming out of the final corner, Chaz Williams is in the lead, that Lewis will have enough drive to try and get past. I don't think that overtake took place just after the start-finish line on that lap. It's going to be very, very interesting as they come round through the final corners on this last lap. Who's actually positioned themselves perfectly, because it looks like we've now got a little bit of a group breakaway there, but the group behind is now getting the double slipstream from Chaz Williams, also Xavier Kermy and Connor Lewis on board this 77 bike. Connor Lewis, of course, stands out with that red helmet, very easy to pick out.
Yeah, he certainly does, and it is Chaz Williams who leads the way off the end of the back straight again, with Connor Lewis behind him.
So the pink knee sliders of Chaz Williams disappear off down towards turn 4, the Kawasaki corner. They're 3 abreast as they go into Kawasaki corner. A big charge up the inside is that Xavier Kermy on board bike number 82.
Yep.
So it is Lewis that leads on 77, Kermy on the 82 in second, and Chaz Williams in third. A little bit of a gap back to Rossi McAdam in fourth, Jai Strugnall in fifth.
Yeah, big move there. Watch this now as they head into the final corner. Chaz Williams hard on the brakes, but it is Connor Lewis who leads. It's a slipstream to the line now, Phil.
Well, Connor Lewis has got the lead, but can Williams get the slipstream on the way out as they start to weave across the circuit? You can see there Chaz Williams pulls to the inside of the circuit, and I think he very well will get there. He's very close, but I think Williams just gets there.
He does.
Take his first win for the weekend. Connor Lewis, who has already won 2 races this weekend, will take second position, and Xavier Kermy will take third. 0.08 of a second cover the top 3, Steve, as they came across the line.
Yeah, Chaz Williams wins by 0.012. What an impressive race win for him, with Connor Lewis in second, Xavier Kermy in third. Rossi McAdam takes that 4th spot. Jai Strugnall in 5th. Hunter Charlotte in 6th. Thomas Cameron in 7th. Gage Plowman 8th. 9th, Orlando Pervitas.
Jed Louis rounds out your top 10 with Crew Knight in 11th, Ethan Pelgrave in 12th, Stevie Middlebrook in 13th place, Callum Campbell in 14th, Liam Fuchs in 15th, Leo Darling in 16th, Adam Jordan in 17th, and Finn Mellerick rounds out your top 18. Plenty more action coming up here. Shop Yamaha R3 Cup up next. Well, final race on today's program, and it is the 3rd and final race for the Shop Yamaha R3 Cup. The wet conditions have greeted the riders here at Queensland Raceway as they make their way around on their final parts of the warm-up lap before we get underway for 8 laps of hectic racing action. The question is, Steve Martin, who are the mud runners in this category? Because we've got so many riders that have got formidable amounts of dirt track experience. On the grid, though, it is Valentino Knežević who will start from pole position with Geordie Simpson and Hudson Thompson on the front row of the grid. Phoenix O'Brien, Oscar Lewis and Rossi McAdam on row 2.
Yeah, Nick Lazos, Mitch Simpson and Nixon Frost from your row 3. Row 4 is John Pelgrave, Lincoln Knight and Matthew Ritter.
Seth Dello, Alexander Cody and William Hunt will start out of row 5 with Ethan Dello, Mitchell Cartwright and Chiara Vest. Hopefully Chiara is out there after the big step off that she had earlier on, out of position number 18.
Yeah, completely different conditions to what we've had throughout the weekend for these guys. So it is going to be very, very interesting to see how it mixes things up.
Well, we've got dirt trackers and we've also got the Simpsons that are very adept at riding motocross as well. Of course, remember, they've both raced in rounds of the ProMX Championship. And we're ready to go racing for the final time today. Red lights are on and R3 Cup is go. Good start there from everyone on the front row of the grid. They weren't spinning up like the Superbikes as they made their way across the start-finish line. But I can tell you now that Mitch Simpson has plummeted back into the pack, and it is Geordie up into second position. One of the Simpson brothers went forward. The other one hit reverse as we made our way through SW Motec corner, turn 1 for the first time. But it is Hudson Thompson, our pole man, on board bike number 41 that leads.
Yeah, Hudson Thompson, very experienced rider, ridden in a lot of different countries and had a lot of different conditions like this around the world. So, you know, he's probably one to keep an eye on for the overall win on this one. But Geordie Simpson up there in second with Valentino in third. Seth Dello, wow, the young South Australian in fourth at the moment. So it's a pretty impressive ride for the number 11 machine there. Nicholas Lazos as well, who's making his way forward.
Yeah, Lazos doing a great job on board bike number 11. Certainly proving that he's not scared of a little bit of wet weather riding as they make their way down to Kawasaki now. See also on a bit of a charge. I think you'll find that is bike number 46 of William Hunt charging his way forward. Remember, William Hunt was stranded on the outside of the grid earlier on one of today's races, so he'll be looking to go out with a good performance in this final race.
I want you to watch Mitch Simpson. He just passed 3 people in one corner there. I know he got a bad start, but he is rocketing through the field at the moment.
I think that's Phoenix O'Brien there on board the Moto Go entrance.
Oh!
There is Mitch Simpson. He's got in way too hot into Ducati corner.
Yep.
He had so much momentum coming out of Racing Road corner and down into the final corner, turn 6, that he just ran a fraction wide. But we will keep our eye on Mitch Simpson. The gap as he came across the line was 2.7 seconds to the race lead, Steve. So write that down in your notes, and we'll see what happens at the end of this lap if he's able to make up any time back, as his brother momentarily held the lead. But fighting back immediately, actually no, second place, fighting back immediately was Seth Dello on board bike number 34. So obviously Seth Dello is quite adept with the bike moving around, getting some good pace out of his Yamaha R3. But it's Thompson that still leads on board bike number 41. The gap back to Dello was 1.1 seconds. That's closed down a little bit as they leave AMMF corner and out through Motul.
Yeah, he's looking pretty smooth out front as Hudson Thompson at the moment. He's not really making too many mistakes. He's not getting his bikes to move around, definitely not as much as Mitch Simpson, that's for sure. So nice and smooth is key in these conditions.
Well, Mitch Simpson has now moved up into...
Oh, there we go. That's Seth Dello, I think. That's...
Yep, Dello down and Simpson up into now third place. So there's a fair bit of action happening at that part of the track. Well, it doesn't matter whether it was wet or dry, really, does it?
No, but it is tricky because it's, you know, there's still only 2 left-hand corners here. That's the first left after a long, long time. And I know that these wet weather tyres don't necessarily need to be warmed up, but it does help if the rubber hits the ground regularly.
And also there's a couple of patches on the ground there that just look super shiny and slippery, especially with a bit of rain on them. As we look at a Blue Crew replay now, you can see a fair bit of lean angle there, and the back end just came around straight away, and unfortunately bike number 34, Seth Dello, exited stage right at the exit of turn 4, the Kawasaki corner.
Nixon Frost is right up there too. So good to see Nixon. He's riding really well at the moment.
Well, he's going extremely well in the wet. You can see Nixon just pulling out of the slipstream of Valentino there on board bike number 99. He's come a long way since he was competing in the Oceania Blue Crew Junior Cup a few years ago.
Jeez, he went past Valentino like he was standing still, didn't he?
Probably a slightly lighter body weight, just gives him a little bit more acceleration, but at the same time, in these conditions, that's less traction.
Have you seen Nicholson Frost lately? He's growing and growing. He's like almost as tall as his dad now. Not quite, but he's a young man now.
And he's now trying to get the better of Geordie Simpson on the brakes, down into the AWMF corner, turn 3, and he does. Look at him hunched right over the tank there. Of course, his dad, Sloane Frost, was no stranger to racing in Australia back in the early 2000s. We've got one rider down. That's at the exit of, well, pretty much the entry to Race and Road corner. As we look at a Blue Crew replay, that is Pelgrave making it safely through the corner, and unfortunately, that looks like it could be Mark Shaw, who's having a guest ride here this weekend. Now living in Queensland is the Sydney sider. On the Supersport's boot entry.
Sunny Queensland.
So living down Toowoomba way, I think, these days is Mark Shaw.
I'll tell you what, Hudson Thompson's doing a fabulous job. 1:33.3. Good lap time, fastest lap last time through for him. Mitch Simpson equals that, but there's still a bit of a gap to go. It's going to be a long race, though.
Mitch Simpson just done the fastest lap of the race. Nicholson Frost has just done the fastest lap of the race. So all swapping it as these conditions lighten up a little bit and the race laps start to get quicker and quicker. This is a good battle here with bike number 56. That is Oscar Lewis in that battle, as well as I think you'll find that John Pelgrave was in there on board bike number 43 as well. We go back to the Simpsons, who are currently holding down 2nd and 4th position, with Nicholson Frost in the middle of them. Nicholson Frost was the fastest rider on the last lap with a 1:31.974. That was about 1.5 seconds faster than our race leader, Steve. So
yeah, it's pretty impressive. Definitely the winners within grasp if you can keep that pace up.
Well, and also Mitch Simpson's race last lap was 1.3 seconds faster than our race leader as well. Lazos has dropped back in the pack on board bike number 11. You can see him there making his way through AWMF corner.
There's confirmation of that fastest lap, 1:31.9.
John Pelgrave doing a good job there.
Yep, nice and steady. Pelgrave at the moment in that 9th position with just behind him is Alvin Wu. He's a good wet weather rider too. Lincoln Knight up into 13th with Zach Russo just behind him.
Ethan Dello in there as well on board bike number 4. Cara Vest is out there on board bike number 19, so great to see her getting out there in this last race after a difficult weekend with a couple of crashes. I think fair to say that the last one wasn't entirely her fault. Looked like she got a little bit of assistance to make her way off the track. As Valentino has to stand it upright because coming up the inside was Rossi McAdam on board bike number 61. Doesn't matter, wet or dry, Rossi McAdam very keen to move forward on the brakes.
Yeah, he's so good on the brakes, isn't he? And also, I mean, Valentino was looking so strong in the wet to start off with, but Will Hunt's also gone past him now.
Yeah, he's moved back to, that would be 7th position now for Valentino Knežević. Just knows that he's got to get some good points in this R3 Cup, because he did win the R3 Cup last year. Through AWMF corner we come now, and out through Motul. It's a corner that opens up as it comes out there and goes down that back straight. But Valentino's got a problem. You can see him there leaning down to the other side of the machine. I think he may have broken a gear shift or something like that, Steve.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it looked like he was having to change gears manually with his hand or something. So I'm not sure what the problem is there, but yellow flags waving on the exit of Race and Road corner as well, as we go back to the battle between Nicholson Frost on 99 and also Geordie Simpson on 33.
Valentino's definitely dropping down through the field at the moment. So, yeah, definitely an issue for Valentino. But look at this now. Nicholson Frost is
under pressure.
Definitely under pressure.
Well, speaking of under pressure, Mitch Simpson has just uncorked a 1:29.958, half a second faster than our race leader. The gap is now down to under half a second. Hudson Thompson is about to come under some serious pressure in the final 2 laps of this race. And also at the same time, brother Geordie is putting pressure on Nicholson Frost. So there goes Geordie pulling out of the slipstream. There'll be massive smiles on the faces of the 2 Simpson brothers now as we get into the dying stages of the final race for Shop Yamaha R3 Cup. Simpson up into 3rd. Now it's Simpson having a look at Hudson Thompson for the race lead.
Yeah, very, very close between those. 1:29.9, as you say, that's a pretty quick lap. And just on the back there is Mitch Simpson now trying to get past Hudson Thompson.
I just think there's only been, I think, one race in this championship so far this year that Mitch Simpson hasn't stood on the top step of the podium, and he would love to rectify that last race where he didn't take the race win and take the win in the final race of the day. The gap, we'll have a look as they came across the line. Last time it was just under half a second at 0.497.
Well, it's less than that now.
It's going to be pretty close as they come across the line. In fact, I think Simpson may have even been trying to find a way past as they went down into turn 1. No, it's still about half a second. Officially, as they went across the line, it was Hudson Thompson's responded with the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, 29.8. That's pretty impressive from Hudson Thompson, giving it everything he can. So these boys now on the limit for sure.
They're on the limit. They're on the last lap. There is only now 4 corners to go for these riders. Thompson goes to the far, right-hand side of the circuit. He'll sweep back now across to the left to try and get the run into AWMF corner for the final time. Mitch Simpson closes right up on the back of bike number 41 as they make their way through Motul now for the final time. I think Simpson's planning a move here. It's going to have to be at the final corner, Steve. I don't know if he's going to be able to get through turn 4 Kawasaki and turn 5 Racing Road and maintain a lead down that back straight with the hard-braking antics of Hudson Thompson.
Well, it's going to have to be like a dive up the inside into Ducati, isn't it? Like line it all up. But good drive out there from Hudson Thompson. Yep. And Mitch is winding it up, but he looks like he's going to the outside. He's gone to the outside. That's a brave move. He needed to go to the inside, but he's gone big.
Oh,
he's
wow.
gone big.
He's got around the outside. That is an unbelievable manoeuvre from Mitch Simpson. Can Thompson get the slipstream as they come to the line now? I don't think he's going to do it. I think Mitch is going to take win. Oh, it is so close as they go across the line. It is so close as they go across the line. I wouldn't be surprised to see the photo have to get brought out for that one. Fastest lap of the race on the last lap, a 1:29.297. I've seen a lot here this weekend, Steve Martin, but I've not seen an overtaking manoeuvre like the one performed by Mitch Simpson in the final corner. Overtook around the outside into Ducati, maintained the drive through Pirelli, and eventually got to the line with a winning margin. He's now being quoted at 0.027.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff. And unfortunately for Geordie Simpson, he had a bit of a crash, managed to pick it up, lost 5 spots and finished in 7th.
So Hudson Thompson finishes in 2nd place and Nixon Frost will finish in 3rd, but Mitch Simpson deserves that win with an outrageous overtaking manoeuvre on the final corner to win by 0.027 of a second. Rossi McAdam was in 4th, William Hunt in 5th, Oscar Lewis in 6th, Geordie Simpson in 7th, John Pelgrave in 8th, Alvin Wu in 9th position, and Nicholas Lazos rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, what an impressive ride by all those guys. Ethan Dello in 11th, Lincoln Knight 12th, 13, Alexander Cody. Zach Russo, 14th. The last point, Zane Beckensdale. Well done, mate. Kiara Vest, what a comeback in 16th. Phoenix O'Brien, 17th. And 18th is Adam Jordan.
Yeah, that was a brave ride from Kiara Vest after that big crash earlier on this weekend. And what a win. Mitch will be extremely happy with that one. Look at the smile on his face as he takes the helmet off. Wow. Unbelievable. So now Mitch Simpson has actually won 4 of the 5 races contested in the Shop Yamaha R3 Cup. Time to head down to the podium. Chris is with our top 3.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Here with the podium finishers for the Shop Yamaha R3 Cup and the young New Zealand man, Nixon Frost. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's my first ever podium in the ASBK. I'm just so happy to be here. Love the rain.
Oh, that's good to see. We really enjoyed watching you. The Bridgestone tyres were obviously working well, so yeah, congratulations again.
Yeah, Bridgestone tyres are great. Like, despite everyone saying, like, they're actually great tyres. Like, I can't even get better ones.
Well done, mate. Well done. Look forward to seeing you at the next round. And 2nd place in the race, Hudson Thompson. I mean, that's another second. I know you wanted that win, but mate, you must be happy with the weekend.
Yeah, I was happy with the weekend. Without a reference, I couldn't go as quick as him. I had no idea how fast I could go. I saw the distance coming down every single lap, and I thought I was pushing as hard as I could. But yeah, big congratulations to Mitch. He rode a really good race, and yeah,
You should be very proud, mate. You did a good job out there. Well done.
Thank you.
There you go. It's our second place, man. A race winner, Mitch Simpson. I love the smile. That move around the outside in the last turn, it was either going to win or it'll win it, I think, but it come off. Well done.
Nah, cheers, Chris. Yeah, I was umming and ahhing about it, and when he was mid-track, I was like, the dry line's on the outside, so I've got no choice. I just kind of have to go for it. I knew I had good corner speed. I was catching him, so I knew I was getting quicker. So it was just a matter of time when I was going to pass him, so I'm absolutely stoked with that. Absolutely stoked.
You should be, mate. Well done. Enjoy it and look forward to the next round.
Yeah, cheers, Chris. Cheers.
There you go, our race winner from the shop Yamaha R3 Cup.
Well, the sun shines down here on the Queensland Raceway as we get ready for the afternoon program, Steve, and the Supersport 300 riders are up next. A Victorian that you know quite well, Scott Nicholson, leads the championship coming into this round. It has been trimmed back over the 2 races so far. Chris Vermeulen caught up with the Victorian to find out about his weekend.
Well, always great to catch up with this guy, Scott Nicholson. First of all, great to see you back in the paddock. We were talking before, you did a lot of years in this paddock in the Supersport on the main class Supersport, but you're back on a 300 now. Tell us about it.
Oh, look, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot. These kids in 300s, they're crazy. But yeah, look, most of all, I'm just having fun, enjoying it. And 600s, like, cost a lot of money. There's a lot of stress on you. The 300s, we're just out here having fun and having some good results.
There are a lot of young kids in this 300 class. It is known as a sort of a development class. You're one of the older riders, mid-20s now. Does that experience really come in? Does it help you in places?
I think it does. I think I lack a little bit of that craziness I need to be there, but keeping a level head can do a lot for you, and I've managed to be on the podium in 5 out of 6 races so far, so it's, yeah, having a great time.
The Kawasaki you're on, it is a big battle between Quacker and Yamaha. Tell us about the Kawasaki and why you went that way.
Oh, look, most of all, the first thing I did was because I picked one up cheap. Look, it's a cheap bike to build and they're a lot of fun. I was using it for some training when I was racing 600s. But then, and once I got out and racing against some R3s, you find it has a little bit more top-end speed, lacks a little bit of torque off the corners, but it sort of, I feel like both bikes are really even in the rule set and they've done really well to make it happen. We both have our advantages and you've got to try and make it work.
Exactly. Family-run team, your parents are here, everyone else. You work in a motorbike shop when you're not racing, so obviously the passion's there and you guys love coming here.
Yeah, we all love it. Dad was racing back in the 70s. Both my brothers raced in ASBK as well. We all enjoy our time here. My partner rides as well. And look, it really just brings the whole family together for a weekend and everyone loves it.
It's great to see you here. We love to see you back. It's great to see you leading that championship and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Chris.
We have a look now at the AMMF race highlights for Supersport race number 1, and it was a great start off the line from our pole man, but look at the speed from Riley Norder on board bike number 42. He got the jump and led them through turn 1 for the first time. First lap, turn 3, Valentino was down.
Yeah, he certainly was. He managed to pick that bike up and get going again, but it was the Champions Ride Day bikes out front. Scott Nicholson giving it everything he could. He was so good under brakes, but then this happened. Down he went. Hudson tried an inside move, but it didn't work out. Back at the front, things were busy.
Yeah, Oscar Lewis was making his way forward, as was Tyler King, and Nick Lazos appeared from seemingly nowhere to take up the running in that pack as well, challenging on board bike number 11. Then the Simpson boys forced each other off the circuit in the last lap, titanic struggle that always takes place in this category. And Jake Page eventually got to the line to take the win by a small margin, and then so close as they came across the line, you can see some riders there bashing their tanks. I don't know if that was in celebration or frustration.
A bit of both.
So our top 3 riders in the championship now covered, Steve, by only 7 points as we head into the final race of the weekend. They're on their warm-up lap, not too long until we get the very exciting Race and Road Supersport 300 category underway for the last time this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an exciting race, isn't it? The times are close and the bikes out there are fairly even, as we've seen. Slipstreaming comes into it, but it is Hudson Thompson who starts on pole with Scotty Nicholson in that second spot. Riley Norder, third.
Valentino Knezovic, Oscar Lewis, and our 2 race winners so far this weekend. Jake Page will start out at position number 6 on row 2. Row 3, Tara Morrison, Tyler King, who has had an unbelievable weekend, and Mitch Simpson rounds out row 3.
His brother Geordie Simpson starts row 4 with Tom Nicholson from Bendigo in 11th. 12th spot to Oliver Shaw. Nick Larzos, what a great ride and weekend he's been having so far. Nixon Frost from New Zealand and Matthew Ritter is your row 5.
Yep. John Pelgrave, Phoenix O'Brien and Seth Dello on the next row of the grid. And quite a large field of Race and Road Supersport 300 riders are all now taking up their positions on that grid as we get ready to go racing for the final time this weekend. Race and Road Supersport 300. Supersport 300 is going. Great start from Thompson, Steve, from pole position. Rolly Norder's moved into immediately into second position and could very well go up the inside of Thompson as they make their way into turn 1. He does. Coming around the outside is his teammate Jake Page from the second row of the grid to slot up into 4th position. Nicholson has got away cleanly and looking to try and get up the inside of Page as they make their way through Blue Crew Corner for the first time. And it looks like Valentino Knezovic has also got the Excite Motorsport machine off to a great start as well, sitting back there in about 5th.
Yep, and also I saw Geordie Simpson up there too. I didn't catch Mitch Simpson though, so hopefully we can see Mitch Simpson if he's in that leading group too. But look how tight it is. There's Tara Morrison. She goes in deep on the first lap on the active Trees Kawasaki.
Yeah, she was held out to dry, I think, there at the entry into turn 3. Did a good job to get out of there smoothly and maintain her position in that lead group as we stream down to Kawasaki Corner, turn 4 for the first time. There's one of the Simpsons having a massive lunge up the inside. Well, from what we've seen so far this weekend, I'm going to bet that was Geordie Simpson. Both of them have got the yellow helmets on in this race, so it's impossible to tell them apart.
Absolutely, but one thing we know is it is champions Kawasaki 1 and 2 at the moment. Up there, it's Riley Norder with a slender lead over Jake Page at the moment, with Oscar Lewis in 3rd place.
Well, as they come across the line, it is Mitch that leads the Simpson brothers. You can see 33 versus 66, but Norder leads them across the line. Jake Page takes the lead as they come down the straight at the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight for the second time and into SW Motec Corner, turn 1. This is where Riley Norder just has a slight edge over his teammate. You can see that Page is a fraction wide. Norder on the much tighter inside line, but this is where Page makes up for that strange line where he's not as quick through turn 2, and he gets great drive down the back straight, and Nicholson utilises the slipstream from the 2 Champions Ride Days machines in front of him as Norder comes up the inside.
How tight is that between the 2 teammates? What are they, 10 years old each?
No, I think, well, Riley's a comparable veteran compared to Jake Page. He's probably all of 13.
Right, yeah, well, pretty impressive.
No, actually, sorry, he'd be 15.
15 years old, wow. It's impressive the way that they can ride these bikes already. But definitely we've got a pretty impressively big group. In 1.3 seconds, there's 12 riders at the moment.
Typical Race and Road Supersport 300 action here. We're on the second lap of a 10-lap journey. The first, 9.5 laps are all about jockeying for position, getting yourself set up as Tara Morrison tries to get down the inside of Valentino Knezovic. Can't quite get the job done on that Carl Cox Motorsport entry. You can see also Tyler King is having another great race on board bike number 128.
Yeah, Tyler King, my mind come from nowhere. I haven't really been talking too much about him.
We haven't mentioned him all year, but he has certainly had a massive weekend here at Queensland Raceway. He's featured in all of the races. He was, of course, 4th, his best ever position in race 2 earlier on today, and 8th in the first race yesterday afternoon. So, utilising the slipstream once again is our championship leader, Nicholson, on board the Traction Control Motorsport entry, bike number 39. Always easy to pick Scott Nicholson out with the pink livery that he loves to
These guys and girls, they almost every corner they go into, they brake like it's a last turn, overtaking Jewel for the win. That's how deep these guys are braking at the moment. Good slipstream there. I think that was Riley Norder that's moved up into that second spot now. So Champions Ride Day, Kawasaki's 1 and 2 again.
And we've got a lead group of 11 riders, as you can see. Good drive out of that corner, turn 5. That is the Race and Road corner by Nicholson. Pulls right up onto the back of the 2 Champions machines. As Hudson Thompson is also starting to make his way forward on board bike number 41. Didn't get the best launch off the line. Oscar Lewis utilises the slipstream from Hudson's machine to go flying past as they make their way down in towards turn 1, but Thompson will fight back on the outside. Can't quite get past Lewis on board that Moto School entry. Oh, no, that's Kiara Best.
Yeah.
The young Queenslander looks like she's come down. That's the second time that Turn 6 has claimed her this weekend.
Yep, looks like that's a red flag come out. Good to see. Race Safe will be on the scene straight away to aid Kiara.
As we get ready to go racing for the finals time this weekend for race 3, and Supersport 300 is go. Very quick extinguishing of the other lights there, and the Champions Ride Day men were right on it as they make their way down to turn 1 for the first time there. 1-2. Nicholson has slipped back to about 4th or 5th. Tara Morrison's got off to a great start ahead of John Pelgrave as they make their way through Yamaha corner for the first time.
But it is the Champions Ride Day duo in front with Jake Page on that wide line that he seems to like, leading the way from Riley Norder and Oscar Lewis behind him.
Yeah, well placed was Hudson Thompson as well. You can see the utilisation of the slipstream there. A few riders jockeying for position as they make their way onto the braking area.
Look at Lewis.
At turn 3. Lewis up the inside. He is the meat in the Champions Ride Day sandwich at the moment. Was able to take a relatively good line out of there, although uses all of the track and then a little bit more.
Yeah, good move by Lewis to move up that spot and get him in the prime position as they head into the Kawasaki corner. Oh, we've got a couple of... Is that 2 guys down?
Yep, that's one of the Champions Ride Days machines, and
Lewis.
also Lewis as well. So a couple of riders gone down there. I'm not sure if there was a bit of contact that forced them both off the circuit, but it looked like they were very closely packed as they made their way into turn 4.
Scott Nicholson takes the lead. That's pretty early on, and Valentino Nezevic's up there too. Tara Morrison into 4th spot now.
Yeah, so you've got 3 extremely experienced campaigners at the front of this field now. Then you've got Tyler King on board, bike number 128 back there in 5th position. So it is Nicholson. From Thompson. No, we've got a red flag, and is it again? A few hands getting put up as they make their way into turn 1, so a second red flag.
Looks like that's Oscar Lewis. He's fine. He's up. He's obviously not happy, but as we have a look at the Blue Crew replay, he's gone in way too deep, just gone straight into the back of Jake Page and taken Jake Page right out. So Oscar Lewis just getting a little bit over-ambitious and ended the day for both of those riders.
Well, the thing is that Jake Page would not have known what had hit him there because he was braking into the corner, and then all of a sudden his bike was getting taken out from underneath him. Well, three laps of Queensland Raceway is only essentially 18 corners. I just saw Jake Page making his way down to pit lane, so maybe he's been able to get the bike back up and going again, but he will have to start from pit lane.
Well, yeah, so
which means he's going to be fighting his way through from the back of the grid. But importantly for young Jake, who had moved his way up into 3rd place in the championship, courtesy of his 2 race wins so far this weekend, he could very well get some all-important championship points heading into the next round at Morgan Park as well, which is going to be extremely important for him. Just remember, Nicholson only led by 4 points coming in here. We're ready to go racing once again. Supersport 300 is go. Good start there from Rolling Order, as we've come to expect, but a great start too from Hudson Thompson from the 2nd row of the grid. That William Hunt looks like his bike's stranded on the outside of the grid, so he's got a bit of frustration there that he has to deal with as he pushes his bike back to the pits, but it is Norder that leads. Hudson Thompson in 2nd, then it's Scott Nicholson, Valentino Knezevic, and then the next rider through, Tyler King, getting a great start as well. The first of the Simpson brothers was the next rider through. That's Geordie on board bike number 33. You can see Mitch trying to find his way past young Isaac Ayard, the young Sydney sider, having a great weekend on board the Pork Bike entry.
Look at Scott Nicholson. Oh, that is tight.
Gets the shoehorn out, Steve. He tries to find his way up the inside of Valentino.
Well, he knows, Phil, that with 3 laps, you can't settle into this race. You've got to be aggressive from the start. If you take time to settle in, you're going to go out the back door here. You really need to fight for every corner now.
Well, let's see how they get through turn 4. The very tricky left-hander, the first of the 2 left-handers here.
And look at Riley.
Kawasaki.
Look at Riley Norder. He's got a great start. He's already got a little bit of a gap. Exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, he's just put his head down, trying to break a little bit of a gap early, but Nicholson is having none of that. Closes right up on the brakes into Ducati corner. See, Tara Morrison got off to a pretty good start as well. She's found her way up into about 5th or 6th position on board that Carl Cox Motorsport Active Trees entry, so she's come down now, across the line. Where is Tara? In 6th, yep. So she's only 0.6 behind the lead. And you can see her tagged onto the back of that lead group there.
Yeah.
She currently sits 2nd in the championship.
Yeah, Hudson Thompson right there. Yeah, and of course Scotty Nicholson leads the way, so the championship is between those two guys at the moment, isn't it, really? So Scott Nicholson, with a big fight on his hands, goes round the outside of the number 42, and the race start is under investigation. Did someone jump? That is the big question.
Look at Tyler King, Steve, on the brakes, challenging Nicholson, challenging Rolly Norder for the race lead.
Big move.
And he's moved up into a 2nd position. Well, he's actually held 2nd position because he did that on the first part of the brakes and then was able to hold that position as they made their way into turn 3 on this 2nd lap. Remember, it is only a 3-lap journey.
Yep, absolutely. And they
Field closes up. Look at how tight that is back there.
Yeah.
All the way back to about 8th or 9th position. Nicholas Larzos has moved his way in contention as well on board bike number 11.
Yep, very close. Nick's in good form at the moment too, high, full of confidence. But it is Scott Nicholson up the inside again. Not much room, but he makes the move through on Tyler King.
And Tyler King just got bundled out a fraction wide there as Nicholson came up the inside. He'll fight back immediately on the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance start-finish straight. They rub elbows as they go past the start-finish line. Last lap board is out.
Oh, wow. That happened pretty quick, didn't it?
So
Nixon Frost with a jump start penalty. Unfortunately, Nixon Frost will get a 10-second penalty for him.
Yeah, the Kiwi is a fair way back in the field, so it's not going to be the race to remember, the final one for round 3 of the championship at Queensland Raceway for the New Zealand rider. Look at Tara Morrison there. She's sitting in the slipstream. She's going to get a good double slipstream, but getting the best of the double slipstreams is Tyler King. He hits the lead going into turn 3. Nicholson comes up the inside. Can he get it stopped and turned? Hudson Thompson is also vying for position at the front of this field. We've only got 3 corners to go, and 2 of them are left-handers.
Yep, it's going to come down to this double left-handers now. Up the inside, it looks like he goes, Riley Norder's got a great drive, but he's very tight on the entrance. Oh, and he moves up into 2nd.
Well, if Norder can get a good drive out of the final corner, he may be able to slipstream Nicholson, because we know that Nicholson is good on the brakes and he's not going to want to give up this lead into Ducati corner on this final time. We've got another bike down. We've got another 2 bikes down. Is that Tommy Nicholson on board bike number 67?
One of those looked like Oscar Lewis, 56 perhaps.
So Norder's back to 3rd position. Thompson's up the inside. So Hudson Thompson's done a great last lap here, the good last corner, but it's Nicholson that will take the win. That's his first win of the year. Scotty Nicholson as he comes across the line. His 2nd win of the year for Nicholson as he comes across the line to take the checkered flag. There is nothing between the top 6 riders, Steve.
Half a second, Phil.
Less than half a second to cover the top 6. And in fact, there was only 3/100ths of a second from Valentino in 5th to Tara Morrison in 6th place. But Scott Nicholson has taken the win over Riley Norder and Hudson Thompson in 3rd.
What a race. That pretty much had everything, didn't it? Yeah, Tom Nicholson went down.
So Scotty Nicholson takes the win from Riley Norder and Hudson Thompson. Tyler King, another great ride from him in 4th place, and Valentino Knežević rounds out your top 5.
Good ride by Tara Morrison there on the Carl Cox machine in 6th. 7th was Nick Larzos. He's had a great weekend. 8th, Geordie Simpson. John Pelgrave, good weekend for him too in 9th.
And Isaac Ayard rounds out your top 10. Great result for the Sydney sider, ahead of Mitch Simpson in 11th, Seth Dello in 12th, Phoenix O'Brien in 13th, Oliver Short in 14th, and Alexander Cody in 15th. But our top 3 have made their way back into the podium area, and they will be speaking with Chris Vermeulen very shortly. None more happy than our race winner, Scott Nicholson, and he will extend that very slender championship lead that he had going into race number 3. Right, here's your championship points. 158 for Scott Nicholson, 144 for Tara Morrison in 2nd place. Geordie Simpson on 134 moves up to 3rd. Hudson Thompson in 4th. Jake Page on 5th on 130 points.
Yeah, great job there by Jake. Valentino Knežević, 111. Mitch Simpson, 110 points. Tom Nicholson, 93. Tyler King, great weekend for him, 90 points in that 9th. Riley Norder, 87 points. Nick Larzos, great weekend for him too, with 42 points.
You can see a bit of dust there on the leathers, but he won't be worried. He'll be very happy, and he'll be talking to Chris Vermeulen along with our top 3.
Yes, the Race and Road Supersport 300 class. It is crazy at times. We saw 2 red flags there, but 3-lap race in the end. Hudson Thompson, 3rd place. Congratulations on the podium.
Yeah, thank you. Hope everyone that crashes okay, but like two red flags it's tough to do it because we're changing grid positions and everything. So yeah, to come away with a third it's nice.
It's good to see you up here. Well done again. Good luck next round.
Thank you.
There you go. That's our third place man. Second place. He was second last time out his way. Riley Norton, congratulations.
Thank you. That was a good race. I saw my teammate go down, which, he was going good this weekend. We were battling all the time, but yeah, I knew I was going to have a bit of clear track then, and the 3-lap dash, yeah. But Scotty, he's so good under the brakes. I couldn't get past him on the last corner, ran a little wide, and then had to slipstream Huddy to the line. But yeah, I did. I'm pretty happy with that result. I'd like to thank all the team, Dunlop, everyone working on the bikes. Brendan's got it set up really well. I'm super happy with how I feel out there. And yeah, I can't wait to get underway at Morgan Park.
It's been great to see. Well done, mate. There you go. That's our second place man. And our race winner, redemption from the crash last time out, Scotty Nicholson. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Chris. That was a very hard race with all the stoppages, and I was out there on my spare bike. That bike I'd never ridden before. I'd never ridden a kilometre on it. I rode it from the van to the backyard to put it in the shed, and that's as far as it's gone. So amazing to get it a win on its debut.
It worked well. Congratulations again. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Our podium finishes for the Race and Road Supersport 300 class.
Well, thank you very much, Chris. Congratulations to Scott Nicholson, Riley Norder and Hudson Thompson, your top three for the final time this weekend for Race and Road Supersport 300. And of course, the next round of the ASBK is at Morgan Park in Queensland on the 13th to the 15th of June. Round 5, we're back here at Queensland Raceway with the Superbikes only from the 8th to the 10th of August. Phillip Island, round 6 in September. Round 7 at One Raceway in October over the long weekend in New South Wales. And the final round at the Ben Motorsport Park on the 7th to the 9th of November. The next round of ProMX is at Traralgon in Victoria in May. Then we've got Warwick back here in Queensland in June. Nowra in New South Wales on the 6th of July. The 27th of July later in the same month, we're back here in Queensland at Toowoomba. And the final round at Queensland Moto Park on the 2nd to the 3rd of August. That's it from Queensland Raceway. Plenty more action coming up for the rest of the ASBK season from Morgan Park. We'll see you there, back here in Queensland in just over a month's time. Today's telecast is in memory of riders Mark Chiodo and Joel Evans, who lost their lives in recent weeks. Both will be strongly missed in the paddocks of ASBK and ProMX, and Motorcycling Australia and the racing community send their condolences.